is, the role of mentors and role models. You touched on it briefly, whether formal or informal mentors. I remember you said at a certain point that, Suzanne Roche, which is partly why she's here, was one of your role models.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to just comment and share, with us, who some of the people that, have impacted your career and the extent to which they have.
Thank you very much. And yes, Susan, my big sis, has played that role significant, especially towards the last number of years in my career. But I won't speak about Susan now. I will start the journey with the early stage mentoring that I got. And at that point in time, starting off my career, I probably didn't realize it was mentoring. And this was 28 years thereabouts. But there were some people at my early stage that were very interested in my career. And these people were my direct supervisors, both male and female. And I will say that there were more male mentors for me at that point in time. Again, because they were the ones that were predominantly at the head of the organization then. So there were people who guided me and who helped in my development over the course of my early stages in banking, including I was really fortunate. I had CEOs that took personal interest in me. And I remember then in my first institution, my CEO would actually come into my dealing room where we traders were then, and would ask me how I was doing, and would find out if I had any issues, and would discuss those issues with me. And me being an entry-level person, just 1, 2 years or 3 years in banking, and having the CEO of a large institution, finding out how you're doing and asking if, all my plans were going according to plan, was actually something that I cherish, and I still hold that relationship dearly to heart. So, moving on, middle level management, I then had mentors also, both within the organization and outside the organization. Again, in the treasury world, it was almost like a small clique or cult, as it were, where people would take interest in what you're doing. So I had a number of male mentors at that point in time who shared a lot of knowledge with me, would explain, would take time. They actually spend time, weekends, explaining concepts, guiding, teaching, and showing me things that I could do to improve on my skills. So both within the organization and outside of the organization. So that worked out very well for me. But then again, it wasn't very clear to me then that they were mentoring, but they were definitely mentoring me. And I remember as I progressed in my career, I will say somewhere around, I transitioned from middle management then. My brother-in-law then said to me that, look, Buki, you're moving on in your career. You're going on to, top management. I think you need a mentor, and I wish I had listened to him then, because he actually did arrange a session for me with one of the female CEOs at that point in time, and I had time with her. And it was, I had the opportunity to ask her questions, and that was from Kelshigodi, by the way. I had time to ask questions. She spoke to me and said a number of things to me, and that helped. But guess what? I didn't follow up on that mentorship opportunity. Looking back now, I showed some of the gaps I had. Maybe if I had leveraged on that relationship, I would, have had, been able to, be better off than maybe and make some decisions that would have been better for me at that point in time. And what I would say to people is, let's embrace mentorship as quickly as we can and early enough in our career, because it does definitely help. And when I look back now that I have now been mentoring actively, I see that as a mentor, I didn't take advantage of that opportunity. I didn't ask for her time, because again, she's a mentor, very busy. I probably was waiting for her to encouraged me to speak to her, which wouldn't happen, you know. So to mentees, we will be the ones that need to do the work with our mentors. And I see that now. I don't have that time to follow up on too many people like I would have liked to do, because, you know, time just isn't there. And I know that for her also, she didn't have that time. So I've learned my lessons. So when I then became an executive director, I quickly ran to Susan Roche and said, you know what, I need you to speak to me. And that's when the mentorship with Susan basically started, you know, late in my career, but I would say that it's better late than never, you know. And one is not too old or too far gone in one's career to then have the benefits of a mentor. So she's become, you know, the person, my go-to person when I want to bounce ideas, or when I have thoughts, or where I have challenges. And indeed, there have been times where I've had some challenges, not as a result, more from, not as a result of technical things, but more on the softer aspects of relationships. And I've always had to go to her to glean from her experience. And she has been a super mentor in that regard. Even coming into this new role now, she played a role, you know, where I just bounced a number of thoughts and ideas to her, and she provided that level of guidance for me. And so I would say embrace mentorship early to people on the call. Do not wait for your mentors to be the one to approach you, seek them out. I'm not seeking Susan out enough, even as it is, but I have improved a lot now from where I was a number of years ago. Yes.